Morning channel friends. Today we're at Maurizio Farina's school in Rivarello. This furniture has been here for many years. So I proposed to my child's teacher, Loria, who is a really good teacher, if it were possible to paint them. I love to spread the culture of restyling in schools and in public places because I think there is too much waste. Too many times we face furniture that is still beautiful and useful but is thrown away, either because funds coming and schools think they can afford it and it is easier, or simply because they do not know that it can be saved. Before it happens with this beautiful cabinet that is very long, more than 3 meters, it's 4 meters long, and it is very practical, we repaint it. We make it beautiful and light, perfect for this classroom. Follow these tips well and propose it to your children's schools, or if you are the grandmother, propose it. You can do it. Let's go. We start by removing the excess. There are some pieces of molding coming off, so Emma and I, with a hairdryer, I didn't want to bring the heat gun because there are children over there and I didn't want to bring equipment that could be dangerous, just in case a child touches it. And with the hairdryer, we're going to remove this veneer and all the excess from the legs and the edges. We'll wash with our bar and we'll see the state of the furniture. We'll see whether to fill with matteric cream or to fix it. As you can see over the years, they have put tape on, just to hold the edge in place. But we're going to take this border off here today and fix it completely. Look how well it all comes off. Here it is essential to do our bar well, but always remember, when there is old glue, perhaps from our paper tape, as here, you could also remove the excess with oil. The oil usually removes the old glue, so whatever comes off without using a hairdryer, I remove it. When it's stuck, I use the hairdryer. Can you help me, Emma? To make the cabinet more fun, we decided to paint the body in one color and the doors in another color. So we remove the doors and we can paint them easily. Unfortunately, these old screws are with a line, not a star. So you have to be careful because when you remove them, you always risk ruining the drill tip and the screws. Slowly. Thanks. Andiamo. Voila! Next, we put paper tape on the inside of the structure, so we won't dirty it. We put it here. We paint this border, but we'll cover this one. Unless they can be removed, but it's better to cover. Lay a piece of paper, Emma. Those must be numbered with a piece of paper. 1, 2, 3. Remember, if you have to remove the tape to paint it, remember to put a small number at the top so we don't mess it up. By numbering the doors 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 we are sure not to mix them. It's very important. Let's properly mask off the edges in the shells so we don't end up getting paint on the plastic, and make sure we do a right tidy job. I don't think this edge should be covered. We're stopping anyway. This border here, we'll paint it. This one is covered so it won't get dirty. Watch out, we've got this here. Good. Down here, we always tape it too. Sadly, they don't come off, they are fixed. As I said before, we are doing the structure with one color, the doors with another. We are going to use beautiful, because it's a color that fits in this environment, playful, and it matches well with our project, which will be discovered in a little while. We'll do the doors with Elisir. I'll start with the roller, and you with Elizabeth. When you have surfaces like these, which are plasticized and glossy, always remember that it is best to use a soft brush like Elizabeth, which has very soft synthetic bristles, which are great on these surfaces. They cover very well. So we don't overlap. I start with one color and the roller and you on the other side, all right. Look, this piece of furniture is really square and it comes out great with the roller. So please don't dislike the roller. When you have furniture like this, smooth, it is better to go with a roller, because it doesn't leave marks on the surface. Another thing you have to be very careful of when using the roller is not to overdo it and avoid pressing. There you see, right now the roller is almost empty. I'm finished and I don't keep pressing, because otherwise I will cover less. I load some color. Not too much, and I go directly to cover. This will help me to apply one coat less. So the second coat will be a touch-up. It won't be a real second coat, all right? Because I covered it up properly. Emma, could you handle the inside edges for me? So we will be very precise. We decided to fill this small edging with Marrone cream. The Marrone cream will completely plug the wood and make it smoother. Emma stays behind me with a wet microfiber cloth. In this case, if I smudge, she removes the excess. I take the Belle Arti spatula, put a dab of it here on the Cenerentola spatula, and see. Wait a bit to remove. I'll go all the way first. See. There you go. We have filled and sealed everything, and I remove the excess with a clean spatula, just like I'm doing. Now, Emma, we can wipe. I'll just show you so you can do it later. The top paint is still soft, so it's normal that it got scratched. But it doesn't matter. I prefer do it now. We'll touch up with the second coat. Top and bottom, okay. We continue along the edge. We remove the handles because we work better on the doors, but mostly because we polish them and they will be browned new. If you find these little studs, remember that they can be removed easily. You see, they are gently lifted. If you want to put them back on, you can do it. Then you will definitely find these square bolts, very old, typical of those years. With pliers, you simply twist and remove them very easily. In the glass and the second. Here we go. Let's pop the handle. If the stud is stuck, use a simple nail to tap it on one side and the other, so the handle comes off and you don't struggle at all. Now a very quick way to polish when you don't have time and the handles are so badly oxidized. I don't have time right now to put them in vinegar and salt and do all the work. With an abrasive sponge, you simply sand them. You can use the smooth surface sponge. The best would be to do it with a drop of jasmine oil. So a little jasmine oil on the handle and then scratch it off. Look at the difference here. I adjusted it to here, which is the before, and it's dark and oxidized. If you are at home and want to do it with vinegar and salt, it's fine. Otherwise, remember, this is very quick. I'll set them aside, polish them all, and when it's time, they'll be ready to be put back on. Now grab a medium abrasive sponge and scraper to remove any leftover paint, bumps and whatnot. We do not sound because the paint is not clean, but only to remove some flaws, because many coats of paint have different enamels, have been applied over the years, and we want to have a perfect surface ready for Magic Paint. Excuse the noise. The children are playing over there and knocking over here. And there is a pneumatic hammer, because the school is being renovated. Emma, with Elisir, will work on the edges of the door and where the moldings are. I do the flat part with Gorilla. Emma, will you take off number 3 and put it in front for me? Since this is door number 3, we don't want to switch them. I take the roller. I load well. I now start. Elisir is always wonderful. It covers very well. We have finished applying 2 coats to all the doors and they are perfectly dry. Let's start with this one.
The 2 framed doors will have wallpaper inside.
We have already protected the edge with a protective coat to prevent staining the paper. I start by preparing the glue.
We use a powdered wallpaper paste and make a mixture, in this case being only for a small door and not for a whole wall. I'll do it by eye. So, in about 250 milliliters water, I add a teaspoon of powder. I add it bit by bit to avoid lumps forming. There you go. The glue should have a gel-like yet even consistency. Next, spread a thin, even layer over the entire surface. The glue has been spread nice and even, so I can start with placing the wallpaper. I always take a straight side for reference, in this case the top one, and then I flatten it on all sides. I always use a spatula to smooth out the bubbles and to get the corners just right. Lastly, I cut with the cutter using a sharp blade. I use the spatula that helps me not to cut badly, and I cut.
The first door is finished. Now let's do the second one and decorate all the other doors.
We did a live a few hours ago and made stars and polka dots on those 2 doors at the back. But now we'll show you how it's done. Emma chose 3 colors to perfectly match the wallpaper. And with the texture we have already created on this cabinet. So on the Elisir door we apply dark sand, beautiful and also Profumo deorient. As you can see here, the stars and polka dots already have color. I will follow the shades, also because we did not do the whole stencil, but only filled in some parts. So always remember, the stencil can be used as a whole, or simply, as we wish, using only a few parts. Dab stencil brush, and we can start. A piece of paper to drain off excess color, and we can start. Of course, a little color here, so I remove the excess. I drain and start. Always remember that you must not smudge with the stencil. You shouldn't go underneath. You must have an unloaded brush, so that you do not dirty the underside. If you put too much color, you go deep and it really goes to stain. It will make a pond of color. You should be precise. We let the cabinet rest a whole night. This is the second day, and in a while, when this tutorial is finished, we will start with the second one about this beautiful cabinet back here. It looks promising. So, this door is the middle one among the smooth ones. We wanted to do something different, use the same colors, but doing stripes. And today we are going to show you how to create perfect stripes with a little trick, which is not the base color, it's another one. We have already applied a coat of protective paint, because it is always better to apply it if we want to prevent the tape from peeling off the paint. as tape sometimes has a very strong glue. So we use a fairly easy method. 2 tapes, one 1.9 and one 2.5. The green line, therefore, will be the color below, the smaller one, and the other, the larger ones, those of different colors. What do we do? With this one, too, we create the division and the other one will be the actual line. Will you help me, Emma? That way we can see it's easier to do than to say. I put the 2-piece here to give the distance and also here, so I don't have to use a ruler to measure. Now with the smaller one, placed well here, we must always have this as the main part. Have you been precise? And we flatten it out nicely. We remove our spacer, of course. And I place it here. Beautiful, precise. We go on like this for the whole door, so we don't have to measure. You know that Emma and I are not very fond of measuring with a meter, quite the contrary. Pull. I'm good. We are not straight. Lift it again. Good.
Good. Let's go on.
So, one of the best methods to make the stripes without smudging is to be precise with the paper tape. Press the tape well, and when the surface is so nice and smooth it's easy. But another trick is to use either the base color, so Elisir but I used yesterday, and apply a coat on the stripes, or to apply a protective coat. Today, I'm applying satin finish protective paint on the cabinet door, covering tape and bare areas. This will prevent the paint that I am going to apply later from getting that millimeter under the tape, and that is what creates the smear. Protective as you like, pure or diluted. The important thing is that it is well applied. Here we stopped a little earlier. We left about 7 to 8 centimeters, because we don't want to paint that part, as the new handle will go there. This door unfortunately no longer had a handle, so we decided to put a new one here. There you go. I don't mind at all. I apply it here too. It's protective paint, and if I protect it once more it won't hurt. And I carry on all over the door, trying to protect well and seal my paper tape, so that the colors do not filter under the tape. We decided to do the sequence. Dark sand on the larger main rifle under the handle, a neutral color, dark. Here Profumo deorient, here beautiful. Perfect. Respecting this color scheme. So it's dark, Profumo, beautiful. 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 Dark, dark, dark. This way we are not mistaken. 2 coats will be necessary to get a total coverage, but we are in no hurry. Second coat, remember, paper tape should be removed when the paint is wet to avoid keeling. Now we spread the second coat, nice and precise, then immediately remove the paper tape. Let's take the tape off. Two. Nice. Protective paint over our perfect little door. Satin finish protective paint, already diluted by 20%. Applied with our new roller with ultra-thin microfiber hair. And perfect. A roller that keeps flaws to the minimum. Be aware, however, that in order to help the roller to be flawless, you also have to apply it very lightly and gently. So you should never press. The bubbles will go away and the protective paint will self-level. So the protective coat will become just like velvet. We'll show how to remove the masking tape protecting the door hardware, so you won't damage the door. It is always good to cut it out with the cutter before tearing off the paper tape. You have two alternatives. Either you take it off when the door is wet, but it's not always possible, or if you want to do it when the door is dry, you have to cut it out to prevent it from tearing off the paint as well. This is because the protective paint is powerful and it acts as a bridge between the door and the paper, and so there may be a risk of ripping everything off. E-voiler. Now we set it up nicely and reassemble it after we have applied the protective coat all over. If you want to make it easier for the screws to get into the door, especially when the furniture is old, put some candle on them. This way it will be easier. We are going to cover the old holes because this beautiful handle also has very special details. And voila! Now we put it up and screw the bolts in the back. We always put the washer on first and then the bolt. This will help us make sure the handle stays nice and steady over time. Then we take a nice clamp and secure it very tightly over time. The last decorated door is finished. Stripes, stars, polka dots and wallpaper. All mixed nicely in one project. So you can do it. We're going to apply the protective coat on the cabinet and put the doors back. We'll show you how beautiful it is. What are you reading? Pinocchio from Castellamante. Lorenzino da Castellamante. Potasio, I love Insura, Diun Buratino di Terracotta. How amazing we are in Piedmont. How rooted we are. Magic Paint is located in Castellamante. When you come here to visit us, you can maybe visit some nice pottery shops. There are still ceramic heaters, as they were made 20 years ago. We are in Rivarolo at Maurizio Farina, the kindergarten that Mighty attends. We did this first piece of furniture because it was a bit dated. It had edges that were coming off, many problems with the doors as well. Handles were missing, it was flaking, it was falling apart. Teachers were doubtful, is it worth it? I wanted to show the mums, the teachers, and I wanted to teach the children, but it is always worth it. You just have to understand what techniques to use. It took us a whole day, the three of us, so I'll tell you the timings as well. We used 2 cans of Beautiful and 1 can of Elisir to make everything. It is a 4.5-meter cabinet. We used 2 meters of wallpaper. The handles were polished and saved, except for one that was missing and we replaced it. We used a stencil with polka dots and one with stars, and we made a door with stripes using 2 tapes. The colors used are beautiful Elisir, Profumo Deorient for the yellow and Dark Sound for the last stripe. We optimized the use. If you had had to buy these colors to do it, 2 small cans, for example of Dark and Profumo Deorient, would have been enough, as the amount used was very little compared to the size. Yesterday, we thought it looked like a kitten, and it is as big as a kitten. So now we say goodbye. Please subscribe to the channel to avoid missing any content and to help us grow this beautiful community. Let me know in the comments if you liked it, and don't miss the second cabinet we are about to make, which is completely different. Do we say goodbye? See you at the next makeover. Bye.